George repeated, "For the rabbits." And I get to tender rabbits. And you get the tender rabbits. Lenny giggled with happiness and lived on the fat of the land. Yes. Lenny turned his head. "No, Lenny, look down there across the river, like you can almost see the place." Lenny obeyed him. George looked down at the gun. Hi everyone, I have to thank iLearner for inviting me to say a few words about reading and to share with all of you one of my favorite books. I'm an English teacher, so it's very hard to pick just one book because I obviously read a lot of books for teaching and also for leisure, so it's very hard to identify simply one book. But after considering a few factors, I've decided to talk about this book. This one, alright? The title is Of Mice and Men, and it's written by a very famous American author called John Steinbeck. Okay, so if you want to find out more about this author and also this novel, you can go online and I'm pretty sure you can find lots of information. Okay, so why have I picked this book to discuss? Well, there are a few factors. Number one, as I said, it's written by a very famous American author, so obviously that's a very important reason. And number two, look at the size, alright? I know that many students are afraid to read books that are very thick, that have like 400 or 500 pages, but there is no excuse not to read this book because for my edition here, it only has 103 pages. So technically, it's a novella, meaning a short novel. Okay, so that's my second reason. My third reason is, even though it's a tiny little book, the ideas discussed, they are big ideas, alright? They are big ideas. So let me say a few words about the story or the setting, alright? So this story is set in the 1930s in America. So that's the time of the Great Depression, meaning the economy was very bad at that time, and the stock market plunged, and many people were out of a job, and many people were very poor at that time, alright, during the time of the Great Depression. So the two main characters, George and Lenny, they are farm hands. They have to navigate themselves from farm to farm, looking for jobs. Of course, it's very hard for them to look for jobs, especially because Lenny, actually his surname is Small, but he's a giant. Lenny Small is a giant, and he's a little bit dim-witted. He's not very smart. So because of various reasons, it's actually very hard for them to look for a job. Okay, and they are also very poor, but they support one another and they have a lot of dreams as well. So this novel discusses themes like friendship and also dream, in particular the American dream. Because, like for example, George, he doesn't want to work for other people. He wants to earn enough money so that he can start his own farm and he can be his own boss. And Lenny wants to take care of little rabbits and he wants to support his friend as well. So there are many big themes involved, okay, in this little novel. So, well, I suppose there is no reason for you not to read this novel unless you only read stories with happy endings, because this story doesn't have one. It doesn't have a fairy tale kind of ending.